Alright, we're getting ready to secure the plastic. Chris has temporarily secured the plastic at the top of the peak. So once we have the plastic aligned, we're going to start at the peak opposite of the end that Chris previously. So as we start at the peak, we want to make sure that the plastic is smooth, but not overly tight. It's more important that the plastic is smooth and consistent than really tight at this point. So we'll work down each side of the hoop until we have the plastic secured down to the height of the hip board. It's always helpful to have a few extra hands around to keep the plastic nice and flat. Chris is installing the wiggle wire into the wire channel. This is to give you an idea of how this process works. So you'll want to pull down on the wiggle wire and slide it into the track, and it'll lock into place. And then you do the same thing on the bottom. So it's also called zigzag wire because you're kind of zigzagging the wire into the wire channel itself. So you can see how the wire compresses the plastic down into the wire channel. And that is what secures the plastic to the structure. So Chris and I are now going to work along the sides of the tunnel. Our volunteers are on the opposite end of the tunnel, and they're trying to keep the plastic pulled snug along the length of the tunnel. So Chris will be installing the wire while I keep the plastic pulled tight. So when we're pulling the plastic, we want to pull it along the length of the tunnel as well as down to tighten the plastic over the hoops. This can be a challenging portion for you until you become more comfortable with installing the wire. So as we install the wiggle wire, we'll alternate from one side to the other. We'll install one or two pieces of wiggle wire, and then we'll pause and go to the other side of the structure. By alternating sides of the tunnel, we're able to keep the plastic square on the structure. As we finish out the wiggle wire at the ends, you'll need a good pair of wire snippers. Small bolt cutters work. The spring steel is very hard, so just a regular pair of wire cutters probably won't do it. You can also use a hacksaw to score the wire and bend it and break it. So once we have the sides attached to the tunnel, as you notice, Chris will start back at the peak of the tunnel, and we'll work along each side of the hoop down to the hip board. It's really important to have your volunteers available during this portion to help keep the plastic tight and smooth.